going to do explanation of the chapter, A House is Not a Home. Let's get started with the explanation. Now, in this chapter, the character Zan, he is a teenager, and the chapter deals with the problems that a teenager faces. So sometimes teenagers, they face problems in their life when they step from their childhood to their teens. So this chapter also deals with one such problem. So Zan कुछ problems जो है वो face करता है, and then how he deals with those problems, how he comes out of those problems. The chapter is about that. So let's get started. So this is a quick explanation of the chapter with important questions. Now the narrator, he talks about his first year of high school. It wasn't a good year for him. Everything seemed to go against him. So junior high से narrator जो है high school में shift करता है, but the shift is not a very good thing for him because at junior school he was the senior most and he enjoyed the perks of being a senior. But when he shifts to high school, there he becomes the junior most because he is a freshman there. He doesn't have any friends there because all his friends of the previous school, they had gone to some different schools. So that is why he was all alone. He felt isolated and he felt lonely. So that year was not a good year for him. Now, what happened after that? Because he missed his old school, so he would often go to his previous school to meet his old teachers. The old teachers there, they advised him to get involved in the school activities so that he could meet new people and make new friends. They said probably he would end up loving that school more. So teachers उसे advise करते थे कि अपना जो नया school है उसकी activities में involve हो, new friends बनाने की कोशिश करो. And the teacher said that probably one day he would end up loving that school more than his previous school. But then the teacher said that even after that, promise that you would keep on and continue visiting your old school. So the teachers made him promise that even when he would settle and adjust in the new school, make friends there, he would still visit them. Now, Zan, he understood their psychology, he understood what the teachers were trying to explain, and he felt relieved to some extent. So all this explanation, all this advice did not give him much comfort, but to some extent he realized that they were telling the truth only. Then after that, what happened? One cold windy fall day. So it was a Sunday, narrator was at home और घर पे वो अपना homework कर रहा था. Then he also tells us about his cat, tabby cat. So the tabby cat was lying on top of his papers as he was doing his homework. The cat was purring loudly and swatting. So swatting is to hit. So the cat was hitting at his pen. It is like when you try to kill a housefly. So you swat a fly. The cat always remained close to him. He had rescued her when she was a kitten. Since then, the cat was with him. So that tabby cat, that cute little cat was with him because the narrator had rescued that cat. So the cat was very attached to the narrator. So he was sitting because it was cold, windy fall day. Fall day means it was autumn season. So it was cold and he was sitting by the fireplace. His mother was stoking the fire and he was doing his homework. But suddenly he noticed something. He smelled something strange. He noticed that smoke was pouring in through the seams of the ceiling. The smoke began to fill the room so quickly that they could barely see. So एकदम से सारा कमरा जो है, सारा रूम वो smoke से भर गया. So groping our way to the front door, we ran out into the yard. So dono mother and son, they ran out into the front yard, groping their way to the front door. Now groping, what is the meaning of groping? Groping is to search blindly. जब कुछ नजर नहीं आ रहा तो ऐसे हाथ आगे कर करके you feel things, and they felt the front door और वहां से वो जल्दी से बाहर निकल गए. Now after they went out, he quickly went to the neighbors to call the fire department. So by that time when he was calling the neighbors, he saw that his mother is running back into the house. So his mother ran back and she came out carrying a small metal box जिसमें कि important documents थे. So obviously documents बहुत ज़रूरी होते हैं. So अगर वो आग में जल जाते, so it could have been a problem for them. So mother ran inside, brought that important metal box. She dropped that case there on the lawn, और फिर वो दोबारा से अंदर, in a crazed state, she ran again inside the house. Now the narrator knew that why the mother is going inside the house the second time. Because his father had died when he was young, so the narrator was certain कि जो उसकी mother है वो father की pictures, उनकी letters जो है वो ऐसे जलने नहीं देंगे. So mother went inside to bring all those things. So they were the only things that she had to remember him by. Now still narrator panicked at that moment when the mother went inside for the second time. So he screamed, "No, no." And by that time, the fireman had already come. So he was screaming and he was about to go inside the house behind his mother when one of the firemen held him tight. So he did not allow, or he did not let Zan to go inside, but he was screaming he wanted to go inside. So the fireman told him that they would take care of his mother. So he was holding him because he knew that if that fireman would not have been holding him, he would have gone inside behind his mother. So that would have been a trouble. So now the fireman wrapped him inside a blanket and they made Zan sit inside his car. So soon after, he saw that one of the firemen emerged from the house and his mother was in tow. Mother was in tow means on his side. So mother accompanied him. The fireman was bringing his mother out from the house safely. So now it was a relief for him. So now he took over mother to Zen, and they were both sitting, but they were in shock. So both they were panicked, both they were in shock because they were looking at their burning house. So everything at that moment seemed to be in a bad state. Now Zan at that moment realized that all that time जितनी भी बार उसने अपनी मदर से argue किया है, मदर को किसी काम के लिए मना किया है, and he had felt that mother doesn't understand him. So at that moment he felt that all that hate, it had vanished away because he was just looking at the mother going inside the house, and he was thinking that if something had happened to the mother, then what would he had been doing. So at that time all those things they had vanished and he only wanted his mother to be by his side. So now fireman also told him that his mother is going to be okay. So mother was out, but the state was very, very bad for both of them because the whole house, it burnt down. So now he remembered his whole house burning and he watched everything turn into rubble. So 5 hours later, the house had all turned into a rubble. Malbe mein badal gaya. So the firemen, they were able to extinguish the fire, but nothing was left. So he was in a very sad state. Now, after that, he was thinking that what had happened to him. So it was his new school, he was not able to adjust there. Then there's fire in the house, and after that, he had lost his cat. So now the cat was nowhere to be found. So he realized that he and his mother, they were safe, but the cat was not there. So cat kahin nahi mil rahi thi. So cat उसको बहुत ही प्यारी थी, and now this was another big loss for him. So he felt that he was suffering from loss, big time loss. Now the firemen, they did not allow them to go inside the house because still there was smoke. So they had to go to their grandparents' house. So they had nothing with them, whatever they were wearing, only those clothes, and they went to the grandparents' house in their car. Now, same clothes, no shoes. So they didn't have anything. And next day, it was Monday, so he had to go to school. So he was just wishing that mother would ask him not to go. But his mother told him that he had to go. But he didn't have anything. He was wearing the same clothes that he was wearing on Sunday. So no shoes. He looked weird in those clothes and without shoes because while he was doing homework, he had kicked off his shoes, and those shoes, they became a casualty in fire. So casualty here means victim or fatality. So the shoes they were burnt. उसके पास books भी नहीं थी, कोई homework भी नहीं था, and even his backpack. He didn't have his backpack, and he says that his backpack was his life. मे बी क्योंकि वो स्कूल में कोई फ्रेंड नहीं था, ही ऑलवेज सैट अलोन, सो उस बैकपैक में उसकी छोटी छोटी चीजें थी जिससे वो अपना टाइम पास करता था. एंड नाउ सिंस द बैकपैक वाज नॉट देयर, सो ही फेल्ट दैट he just cannot go to school and adjust and spend a day there because without his backpack. So now he was thinking all this and he was in a very depressive state. He was thinking that was I destined to be an outcast. Outcast का मतलब outsider. तो उसे लगता कि मैं हमेशा outsider ही रहूंगा, या I'll be a geek. Geek means odd looking or a nerd all my life. That's what it felt like. I didn't want to grow up, change, or have to handle life if it was going to be this way. So he was feeling कि मैं बड़ा क्यों हो रहा हूँ, मैं छोटे स्कूल में बच्चा ही अच्छा था. So he was feeling कि अगर life इस तरह की होने वाली है, then I don't want to grow up. He at that moment just wanted to curl up and die. So at that time, his mental state was very, very bad. He was in a depressive state. He was feeling lonely and isolated. So then what happened? He walked around the school like a zombie. So it was Monday, he reached school and he walked around like a zombie. Because why like a zombie? Because he was wearing his Sunday clothes and he was not even having his shoes. He was wearing the shoes of his aunt and he was not at all enthusiastic. So zombie here means lifeless, without any enthusiasm. And everything felt surreal. Surreal means strange to him. And he says that I wasn't even sure what was going to happen. All the security I had known from my old school, my friends, my house, my cat, everything had been ripped away. So ripped away means it was destroyed. Everything was destroyed. He didn't have any secure place to go or spend the day or talk to someone. So that is why he was in a very depressive state. So he says that after that, whenever he walked from that site, from his old house site after school, he was shocked to see the damage that fire had actually done. So nothing was left. So he was in a very bad state to see that. And he just felt that only those things which his mother brought from the house, 2 times she went inside, so जो भी सामान उसकी mother वापस ला सकी सिर्फ वही बचा है. Most of the things they were burnt in fire, और कुछ चीजें जो हैं वो because of the water और chemicals जो firemen ने use किया आग बुझाने के लिए उसमें खराब हो गई. So only those things which her mother could bring out of the house, they were safe. So now there was no time to grieve. अब उसकी मदर को पता था कि जल्दी से उन्हें अपने पैरों पे दोबारा खड़ा होना है. So my mother, he says, rushed me out of the house. Out of the house. Why? Because they had to find a new place to live and they also had to buy some new clothes for school. अब ये सारी चीज़ों के लिए पैसे चाहिए थे एंड दे डिडंट हैव एनी ऑफ देयर कार्ड्स. सब कुछ जो है वो जल गया था. सो दे हैड टू बोरो मनी फ्रॉम देयर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स. सो ही बोरोड मनी फ्रॉम हिज ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स बिकॉज देयर वर नो क्रेडिट कार्ड्स, कोई कैश, कोई आईडी कार्ड नहीं था उनके पास ताकि वो बैंक में जाके कुछ पैसे निकलवा सकते. नाउ दैट वीक द रबल ऑफ द हाउस इट वाज बीइंग क्लियर्ड ऑफ. अब वो जो सारा रबल था, जो मलबा था, अब उसको क्लियर करना था. सो उन्होंने कुछ लोग बुलाए और वो जो मलबा था, वो जो रबल था, दैट वाज बीइंग क्लियर्ड ऑफ. लेकिन जो जैन है वो रोज वहां पे जाके बैठ जाता था जस्ट इन केस उसे लगता था कि अगर मेरी कैट जो है वो मुझे वहां पे मिल गई. सो ही वुड वॉच द पीपल क्लियर अवे debris, hoping and thinking about her cat. So he was thinking अपनी कैट के साथ जो उसने टाइम स्पेंड किया, जो अच्छा टाइम था. सो ही यूज्ड टू थिंक अबाउट दैट एंड ही यूज्ड टू सिट देयर जस्ट होपिंग दैट इफ ही would find his cat there. So he kept on thinking about that little kitten. So he would think that early in the morning, whenever he used to get up, the cat would tag along with him. So tag here means the cat would follow him everywhere, wherever he would go. Now he was feeling that जो बुरी खबर है वो फटाफट फैलती है, आग की तरह फैलती है, and he felt कि उसके केस में भी कुछ different नहीं हुआ. At his school, everybody knew that what had happened with him. So everybody was looking at him when he went to the school. He said that he did not want that kind of attention. उसे इस तरह की attention कभी नहीं चाहिए थी, because वो attention थी एक sympathetic attention, attention जिसमें pity थी. So he felt that I never wanted this kind of attention. फिर एक दिन अगले दिन जब वो स्कूल दोबारा जाता है, next day when he goes, so the students around him, they were acting in a strange way. So he felt that the students, they were acting in a strange way, a little weird. But then वो उस पे गौर नहीं करता, because उसके जो सारे दिन है, he says उसके साथ बहुत strange ही हो रहा था आजकल. So then he didn't pay much attention. And then उसे लगता है कि वो जो students है वो उसे किसी तरफ push करके लेके जा रहे हैं. And then he realized why. Because they were shoving him into the gym, and then after getting into the gym, he saw why they were actually pushing him to the gym, because there was a table, a huge table on which the necessary supplies, they were placed for him. So there were books, then there were other things, clothes and other items of daily use, and he was very surprised. It seemed to him like a Christmas. So it seemed that felt, he became very emotional. He felt that how caring these people, these students around him, he had never talked to them, but yet they were so caring. So ये देख के उसका जो है मन भर आता है. So he says that I was overcome by emotion. People who had never spoken to me before, they were coming up to me to introduce themselves. I got all kind of invitations to their houses. तो उस दिन लोग उसके आके मिलते हैं और उसको अपने घर में इनवाइट करते हैं. So he says that he made many friends that day. फिर एक महीना जो है वो गुजर जाता है और अब उसका जो घर है वो रीबिल्ड हो रहा है. So he now goes and sits in the evening to see his house being rebuilt, but now he is not alone. He is with his friends. So वो जाके वहाँ बैठता है, घर जो है उसका दोबारा बन रहा है, and he discusses with his friends about his new room, how he is going to do the setting and all that. So while they excuse me. So while they were sitting there, one day what happened, a hand came on his shoulder. तो वो जब पीछे मुड़ के देखता है, so he finds that there is a woman standing and the woman is holding his cat. So he jumps up and he takes the cat in his arms. So he is so happy that day and he feels that everything is going to be all right. So the woman tells him that this cat looked very scared and that cat had a collar around her neck and there was the phone number. So the woman जो है वो बहुत कोशिश करती है उस नंबर पे कॉल करने की, but because of the fire the telephone lines they were burnt, so she could not contact. So वो बहुत कोशिश करके वो नंबर से एड्रेस का पता करती है and then she brings the cat there. So woman actually realizes that the cat was so adorable, then someone must be missing that cat. So a woman की kindness है, उसकी effort थी, because of which Zan is able to get his cat back. So now he is very happy and he hugs the cat. He feels that now things are coming back on the track. So he takes the cat and he is hugging and he is showing affection to his cat. Then he says that I felt that day gratitude for my life, my new friends, and the kindness of a stranger, and a loud purr of my beloved cat. My cat was back, and so was I. So he feels that now everything has become all right. Life is now on track. So life was on the track means that life was back on the right path. He had his cat, his mother was safe, the house was being rebuilt, he had friends now, so things were going to be good now. So this is the chapter. Now I'll show you the questions, the important questions. I have 21 questions for you. The answers I'll be discussing in the next video because otherwise the video will become very, very long. So have a look at the questions. So these are the questions whose answers I will be discussing in the next video. So you can go through the questions. You can answer these questions on your own because now you know the chapter. Read the questions and then I'll show you the next questions. These are the total 21 questions. The answers of these questions I'll be sharing in the next video. So that's all. These are the image credits and that's all for today. You can subscribe to the channel for more such videos. Give this video a thumbs up and follow me on Instagram. Happy watching and bye for now.